India is home to over 1.4 billion people, the world's fourth largest military budget, and one of the fastest growing air forces on the planet. And yet, America's most powerful fighter jet, the F-35 Lightning II, is completely off limits. No meetings, no briefings, not even a phone call between Lockheed Martin and New Delhi. So what is really going on? Why is the world's largest democracy being shut out from the world's most advanced combat aircraft? And does India even want it anymore? Let's break it all down.
It started with a simple question put to Lockheed Martin. Has India formally requested an F-35 briefing? The answer was carefully worded and deliberately vague. Lockheed Martin didn't say yes. They didn't say no. What they said was this: any discussion about the F-35 must go exclusively through official government-to-government channels under the United States Foreign Military Sales Framework. Translation: Lockheed Martin is not talking to India, and legally they cannot until Washington gives the green light. That statement landed like a bombshell because it confirmed something many suspected. There are zero active negotiations, zero technical presentations, and zero corporate-level talks happening right now between Lockheed Martin and India. And this comes directly after President Trump himself suggested in February 2025 that he would pave the way for F-35 sales to India. Big words, but so far, no action. To understand why this is happening, you need to understand something critical about the F-35 that makes it unlike any other fighter jet ever sold. This is not the F-16. It is not the Eurofighter Typhoon. It is not even the Rafale. The F-35 cannot be sold through standard commercial negotiations. It is locked behind layers of government approval that no other aircraft on Earth requires. Every country that wants one must first submit a formal letter of request. Then the Pentagon reviews it. Then the State Department weighs in. Then Congress votes on whether releasing the jet aligns with American national interest. Only after all of that can Lockheed Martin even enter the room. And when they do, they are functioning as a manufacturer and contractor, not an independent arms dealer. Why does America go this far? Because the F-35 contains stealth coding technology, low observable manufacturing methods, sensor fusion software, and mission data architecture that the United States considers some of its most sensitive secrets in existence. The aircraft's digital support system, originally called ALIS, now upgraded to Odin, creates what critics describe as permanent software dependence. It means Washington can influence maintenance, upgrades, and even operational readiness of every F-35 in every country, forever. Even America's closest allies, NATO members, treaty partners, receive only limited access to the deepest software systems. Full source code transfer has essentially never happened outside America's absolute inner circle. For India, that model is politically toxic. India's relationship with foreign military hardware has always been complicated, and the F-35 hits every single one of New Delhi's red lines simultaneously. Indian officials have spent years worrying that dependence on American logistics networks could leave the Indian Air Force paralyzed during any future political disagreement with Washington. That fear is not theoretical. India has previously experienced sanctions, delayed spare parts, and technology restrictions from multiple foreign partners. It has learned painful lessons about buying critical military equipment with invisible strings attached. The F-35 would attach the largest strings of all. Beyond politics, there is a powerful cultural dimension here. India's Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, meaning self-reliant India, has become a cornerstone of national defense philosophy under current leadership. Importing a technological black box built in Fort Worth, maintained by American software engineers and operationally dependent on Washington's political goodwill, sits in direct contradiction to everything that policy stands for. Indian decision-makers have made their position clear repeatedly. They want domestic manufacturing, software sovereignty, and the ability to eventually export their own military technology, not permanent foreign dependence dressed up as a sales deal. And then there is the money problem, because the F-35 is extraordinarily expensive to operate. Current estimates place the F-35's operating cost at approximately $36,000 per flight hour. That is not the purchase price. That is what it costs every single time the aircraft leaves the runway. Now, consider a modest Indian fleet of just 36 F-35As, the same number India bought of the Rafale. Run those aircraft across a typical 30-year service life, and the operational support costs alone could exceed $30 billion. That is money that would compete directly with India's own indigenous fighter programs, its missile development projects, and its long-term naval modernization priorities. $30 billion is not a line item. In India's defense budget, that is a strategic choice between sovereignty and dependence, and New Delhi has already made its decision. Here is where things get genuinely fascinating, because in early 2026, Russia's export variant of the Su-57, known as the Su-57E, was briefly generating more genuine interest in New Delhi than the F-35 ever has. Why? Because Moscow reportedly put something on the table that Washington simply refuses to offer: technology transfer. Russia indicated willingness to discuss deeper local assembly, domestic industrial participation, and, most critically, broader access to mission software architecture. For India, that is almost everything. Indian strategists have repeatedly argued that source code access matters almost as much as raw aircraft performance in the modern era, because software now determines combat effectiveness more than airframe design. Without direct authority over mission software, electronic warfare libraries, and maintenance protocols, any imported aircraft becomes a tool that a foreign government can switch off diplomatically. Russia's offer aligned more closely with India's long-standing demand for operational independence, which is exactly why it generated interest. But the Su-57E comes with its own serious problems. Questions remain about production quality, engine reliability, stealth performance, and critically, Russia's wartime industrial pressures following years of conflict mean manufacturing capacity is stretched thin. So India finds itself in an unusual position. Russia offers terms but lacks the aircraft. America has the aircraft but refuses the terms. While the F-35 debate plays out in headlines, India is quietly building its air power strategy it actually intends to use, and it does not require the F-35 at all. The centerpiece is the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, the AMCA. This is India's own indigenous fifth-generation stealth fighter program, designed from the ground up to give New Delhi long-term aerospace sovereignty. Indian planners are increasingly viewing the AMCA not just as a single aircraft, but as an entire industrial ecosystem linking domestic engines, sensors, weapon systems, and mission software into one self-sustaining program. The philosophy is clear. Even a delayed indigenous platform offers greater strategic freedom than a perfectly capable imported aircraft that comes with permanent foreign oversight. Alongside the AMCA, India continues expanding its Rafale fleet, accelerating deliveries of the domestically produced Tejas Mk1A, and investing heavily in upgrades for its large Su-30 MKI inventory, new radar, electronic warfare systems, and advanced avionics. The strategy is to maintain numerical strength and capability in the near term while the indigenous fifth-generation program matures. When the F-35 appeared at Aero India 2025 as a static display, it was symbolic. No official Indian Air Force briefing happened. No acquisition discussion emerged. Washington wanted visibility. New Delhi gave it nothing more than a parking space. So, where does all of this leave the United States and India? Washington wants India to serve as a powerful military counterweight to China across the Indo-Pacific. That is a genuine strategic priority that drives billions in defense cooperation every year. But Washington also refuses to relax the technology restrictions surrounding its most sensitive systems, even for a partner it is asking to take serious military risks. That contradiction is not sustainable indefinitely. American officials privately appear to recognize this. The more likely future path involves Washington supporting India through joint engine development, sensor technology, advanced weapons collaboration, and co-production agreements, rather than attempting a direct F-35 sale that both sides know will likely fail.
That approach aligns better with what India actually wants. Partnership built on mutual industrial benefit, not dependence built on American hardware and American software running Indian jets. Until the deeper contradictions around technology transfer, software sovereignty, and operational autonomy are genuinely resolved, the F-35 will remain exactly what it is today, a powerful piece of diplomatic signaling that neither side is ready to turn into reality. Lockheed Martin's statement reveals not a breakthrough approaching, but the enduring gap between America's most tightly controlled fighter and India's uncompromising pursuit of sovereign military power.
If you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe, hit the bell, and drop your opinion in the comments below. Should India push harder for the F-35, or is the indigenous AMCA the smarter long-term play? I will see you in the next one.